After a late work shift, I ordered an Uber home. The fare was oddly low for 4 a.m. The car that arrived matched the description but looked worn down, as if abandoned for years. From the start, something was off about Mike, my driver. The air inside the vehicle was heavy and cold, despite the heat outside.
You're entering Universe Paranormal, where the unknown comes to life.
After a long night at work, I ordered an Uber to get home. It was 4 in the morning, and the city streets were virtually deserted. The app showed my driver, Mike, would arrive in a gray Chevrolet Aveo. I found it strange that the fare was so low for that hour. The car pulled up in front of me, and I noticed something odd. While it matched the description, it looked quite worn down, as if it hadn't been maintained for years. The driver greeted me with a barely noticeable gesture, and I started the trip. From the first moment, the air inside the vehicle felt heavy and cold, despite the heat outside. Mike didn't say a word and drove mechanically, as if on autopilot. I realized he wasn't taking the usual route to my house, but heading toward the outskirts of the city. I tried talking to him, but he wouldn't respond, just keeping his gaze fixed on the road. Panic began to set in when I saw my phone's GPS was no longer working, and the signal had completely disappeared. The streets were becoming darker and unfamiliar. Suddenly, the car started to malfunction. The headlights flickered, and the engine made strange noises. Mike remained impassive, as if nothing was happening. Finally, the vehicle stopped in what appeared to be an old car graveyard. The place was full of rusted and abandoned vehicles. My driver finally turned to look at me, and what I saw chilled my blood. His face was pale and gaunt, with deep black circles under his eyes and an empty expression. He told me in a hoarse voice that we had reached my final destination. At that moment, the doors automatically locked. I tried to stay calm while looking for a way to escape. Through the window, I saw other cars similar to ours, all bearing the Uber logo, all exactly the same. Inside them, I thought I saw motionless silhouettes in the back seats. Mike began telling a story about how he too had been a passenger years ago, until he took a ride from which he never returned. He explained that he was now condemned to pick up passengers and bring them to this place, where they would join the fleet of lost souls. Terror paralyzed me when his skin began to decompose before my eyes, revealing a corpse-like face. With a final flash of clarity, I remembered a trick a friend had taught me. Pressing both rear door locks simultaneously could force them open in an emergency. I tried it as Mike slowly turned toward me, and miraculously it worked. I jumped out of the car and ran without looking back, hearing the spectral screams of my driver and the sound of other engines coming to life in the darkness. After what seemed like an eternity, I reached a main road. Dawn was breaking. A truck driver took pity on me and drove me back to the city. I could never find that car graveyard again, and the Uber app keeps no record of that ride. But since then, whenever I see a gray Chevrolet Aveo driving in the early morning hours, a chill runs down my spine. And if I look carefully, sometimes I think I see Mike's pale face behind the wheel, looking for his next passenger.